What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate pre-show and after-show goodness. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly though, if you'd like to join the discussion, you would have to click on the link to join the Flat Earth Debate YouTube crowd audience, to click on the link to join the show if you choose to, or of course if you want to watch the show live, as this is a pre-recorded show going out about an hour after the live show has recorded. Now, we are in the interim stages between the two debates, so I will pass over to the panel and hopefully they'll keep you entertained while I set up for the next live show.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hello, hello.
How are you? Hello.
Hello, Unorthodox.
Hello.
Did we pick up anybody?
It wouldn't let me
in the...
join with my my regular account that I typically use. It only let me use like my standard like main account. I don't know if you guys changed the settings or what, but
What, were you getting an error?
Nope.
Who's this on the panel? Who's this?
this is Unorthodox.
Hey, Unorthodox.
We know who you are.
Well, he said, who is it?
Man. Physics, you still got that banana Earth?
Do what?
Now.
That looks like
last
family
was oh, you heard about the banana Earth?
Who's talking now?
Yeah, I saw you in
Physics
the
Warrior.
chat the other day. I saw the banana Earth.
Yeah, this is what happens when you have friends that are trolls and you get control. And when you pass out, you wake up with a banana. But that's alright.
I mean, you're looking like Family's curvature right there, so that's a good look.
Yeah, funny. It was really funny.
Are you very
It took me
happy
a day to get rid of it, but it's alright.
Zinda,
Yes.
what is your current position? Are you on the fence, or are you on the ball side trolling us, with pretending that you're not trolling us, or what? Where are you?
No, I'm kind of on the ball side, I think, right now. So
Kinda.
yeah, I'm not like 100% because there are still things that don't really make sense to me in terms of the sphere. But yeah, I'm trying to understand those things.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with all the live Flat Earth debates. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs along the show while it's premiering, and there's also a PayPal and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly though, if you would like to join the discussion and you're watching right now, you can click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Chocolate Saiyan, Mike, Physics Warrior, Sleeping Warrior, The Plain Truth, Unorthodox, and Zinda. Good to have you all.
Woo!
Hello.
Yo.
Yeah.
Hello.
Good morning, good afternoon from the banana Earth.
So Anthony, to answer your question a little more precisely, in terms of the shape of the Earth, right? My opinion on it is, I even consider that the Earth, that we might be living in a small room that is the Earth, and the more you move towards the wall, the more the dimension gets distorted and shifted, and making the illusion of us living on a Earth in terms of like the Earth we live on. So
are you basically saying you're not convinced it's a sphere?
well, not 100%. And the reason why I got this idea was from the flat Earth debate withdrawal. I and some friends, we moved to, like, we went on a weekend in a small house, and then I considered, all right, if I don't have the flat Earth drug anymore, I have to take some LSD with them. So we took it, and then I saw like the shifting dimensions and everything. So I thought, like, yeah, maybe our mind just plays a trick with us, right? And we actually are living in let's say 40 square meter room. So yeah, it is interesting imagining some possibilities.
Fair enough.
Might not be a sphere.
I just got on a flight. I flew from New York, Georgia to Boston to Phoenix yesterday. For the first time in a while, and for the first time since I've been like a full-on flat earther. And I mean, it's definitely a different experience. And when you're up there, you just know. You just look out. You're just like, nah. There's no way this is a spinning ball. It's just not possible.
You didn't notice how the horizon was shifted down a few degrees?
Nope.
Sam?
Nope. I noticed how I saw it at 35,000 feet.
Is there a possible explanation for why it shifted down there, unorthodox?
Well, I don't know. I just know that's a common flat Earth argument that's just completely untrue. I know a lot of flat Earthers say that the horizon always shifts to eye level, but that's not true. So I don't know if
So when I looked out the plane window, the horizon was there. So I don't know.
Down lower. It's not at the same level.
Okay, that's not what
the same level as when I'm on the ground?
Right.
Yes, your eye level, you have to look down a certain amount of degrees to look at the horizon. If you're on a plane, you have to look down a few more degrees to see the horizon.
I looked straight out.
Yeah.
And
okay,
all I
great.
saw was horizon.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Unorthodox. What is your measurement of a degree? How much?
One 360th of a full circle.
1/360th. Right. That still doesn't give me a precise measurement, because if we're on the alleged surface of the Earth that is a globe, that's 69 miles. So are you telling me that when I look out the window, I have to adjust my eyesight 69 miles? Because when I flew out to California just this last week, and I looked out the window, I just looked straight ahead and saw the horizon. So what is it exactly you're saying? I mean, be precise, because you're just using terms that have no meaning unless you define them. So,
if you basically put a glass plate in front of your vision and you drew a line, you could do it, and it's pretty obvious. I've been up in planes before. The horizon is obviously lower. It's obviously lower.
Yeah, and I asked you a question.
Should it be like 4,000 feet or something?
I asked you a question. What is your explanation for why it's lower?
Because the Earth's a globe, and it's not flat.
Okay.
I love it.
Right. Let me ask you a question.
So it's based on the presupposition that the Earth's a sphere. So like every example ever, you've got to insist that we presuppose the Earth's a sphere to extrapolate out that dip that you see at high altitude as being Earth curve.
Yes, how am I supposed to talk about the Earth being a sphere if the Earth isn't a sphere? If we don't say the Earth is a sphere,
you can't.
We're looking for evidence that it is a sphere. We're not just presupposing that it is a sphere.
Why did my Q&A get sidetracked? My Q&A got totally sidetracked, people. Come on now. Okay, so my question to you, Unorthodox, is what other variables that could possibly explain the degree that might have changed in the horizon level? What other variables did you eliminate to come up with the fact that it was exclusively Earth curve?
I haven't done a complex analysis of it.
Okay, so no. So basically, it could be possible that there is another explanation.
There's always possibilities, right?
So it's possible that it could not be Earth curve.
For that one example, yes, but then you've got 30 other things that also tell you that
go ahead.
it's
Tell
curved.
me those 3. Tell me those 3 other things when we're flying up in the air, because that's what we're observing. We're observing the horizon at our eye level at 35,000 feet. So what are the 30 other things that we have to consider?
Well, I'm talking about, you know, like the pole stars, you know, obstruction.
Yeah, so red herrings and non sequiturs then, because those have nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. Can we stick to the topic?
Well, I'm just saying it adds to the conclusion. If you have other evidence to back up that conclusion, it makes it stronger.
Didn't Jay Tolan put a video up on his channel doing a horizon test on both sides of the plane, coming up with exactly 0.0 degrees of dip?
Yeah, I vaguely remember that being discussed elsewhere, although I've not seen it, Mike.
I think it's on his channel.
I've been up in a plane. It's obviously lower.
Well, you can't distinguish an horizon with your naked eyes at that altitude. It's impossible.
It's obviously lower. Like if you take a photograph and you're on ground level, the horizon will take up about 50% of the photo and the ground will take up about 50%. If you're in a plane and you take a photo, the horizon will take up more than 50% of the photo.
Sure, that's lovely.
That's only
but then,
got it leveled.
But then when we ask you, what does that mean? And then you tell us that you presuppose the Earth's a sphere and that's causing that effect, that doesn't prove a thing. Do you not get that?
If it was flat, it would rise to eye level, Nathan.
So now you're strawmanning us.
I don't think that's a straw man.
Well,
I mean, that's pretty much...
If it's not a straw man, what claim have I made? What claim did I make about the horizon? Unorthodox, lay it out for me, if this isn't a straw man.
You haven't made a claim. I made a
claim.
Oh,
right, so it is a straw man then. So it's got sod all to do with Travis's point. You're now making up a new point to attack, which is called a straw man. So let's just stick to your claim. Let's just stick to your claim that you... Shut up! Let's stick to your claim that you've made about the horizon and what it proves. We've already established, masterfully...
I didn't say it proves anything.
Shut
I said
up!
Evidence for it.
Shut your stupid mouth. I'm the one talking. So we've already had it explained by Travis. Without the presupposition that the Earth's a sphere, you have nothing here to demonstrate. So like with Zinder on the last show, we're just going to go around 20 minutes of you going through the same thing over and over?
No, I was going to move on to y'all's direct contradiction that you talked about just a minute ago. That's what I was going to... I mean, I made my point. I'd like to move on.
No, you didn't.
You know, talk about it for 30 minutes.
No, you didn't. You made a presupposition that we were on a sphere and then told us about your deduction based on your presupposition after looking at something out of a plane window. You made no connection to the two. You just gave us a religious belief.
How is that a presupposition, Nathan? It's an observation.
No, you made an observation of the horizon, not of Earth being a sphere. That is your presupposition, my son.
That's a deduction, Nathan. You see something and you deduce
we've already established it's not a deduction.
It's not a presupposition.
No, it's not a deduction. You don't have logic on your side here, I'm afraid, unorthodox. You start with your conclusion. You've already admitted that.
I mean,
we're talking about an observation, Nathan.
Yeah, and what does it prove?
I took a few pictures. I could try to post it in the Skype chat. I don't have a P900 or anything, but I have a cell phone. I took.
You're very quiet. I've turned you right up as well, Chocolate, so I can't get you any higher.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I took a few cell phone pictures from the aircraft while it was I took a few from like about 10,000 feet and a few from 30, 34, 35. So, I mean, I don't know, unorthodox, you can look at it and see what you think, if it's lower the way you think it should be on a ball.
Yeah, if you have your camera level and you take a picture and you're in a plane, the top half of the horizon, the sky to the ground, will take up more than 50% of the photograph. If you're on the ground and you have your camera level and you point it at the horizon, it'll take up about 50-50.
So
you can't even tell where the horizon is. It's often blurred.
You know, I was really want to talk about y'all's direct contradiction in logic, and you can just tell me if I'm wrong here. But you say that you have to have a container to have air pressure, but you say that in
why
order.
Are we taking? No, why are we taking the focus off of your inability to be logical here?
I'm done with the point, dude. It's over. I don't have any other points to make regarding that. Let's talk about something else.
You know, you didn't really make any.
Yeah, we don't have anything else to discuss with you because it's just going to be another, well, what about this? Well, what about this? When we can't even deal with the first point in the fact that, again, if I'm again, you and I are having conversation over a beer, okay? And you say that looking out the window at 35,000 feet, the horizon drops a certain amount of degrees. And my question to you is, how does that prove the curvature of the Earth?
It doesn't. It proves that it's not flat.
How does it prove that it's not flat?
You want me to go? You want me to model it and show it to you? I have to model it in 3D software. If you raise
3D software, bro. I was on the plane yesterday, and the last thing it did was prove curvature.
Hey, Arwin.
Sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Do you have an explanation for why it doesn't rise?
Hold on. So again, you're strawmanning us. Who's making this claim?
You're turning it back on us.
You are the one who brought
We're discussing
up
the point, guys.
I never said
avenues you go on.
Let's just get clear what's happening.
We're not just on the main highway here. There's avenues and off-roads to this conversation. So don't act like I'm doing something absurd by taking questions that are directly correlated to the topic at hand and discussing them. That's not abnormal whatsoever. Don't sit here and act to me like it is.
Subject.
You have made a claim, unorthodox.
From the current subject. It's also known as a red herring.
Yeah, you made the claim.
You don't remember how this went? You don't remember how this went down? I said I was in an aircraft and I looked out and it completely proved to me that it was flat. What was your first thing you said? First thing you said was, "Oh, did the horizon dip down?" And I said, "Not to me." And you said, "Oh, because this is one of those flat earther arguments." No, at no time did I bring that up. That's your argument.
Right, you made the claim.
You said the same thing that's common among flat earthers.
Oh God, so he is. Just anyway, John, how you doing?
That the horizon actually rises to eye level, and it doesn't. That's a lie.
He's not going to shut up long enough to get a hello out, John. Hey, John.
How's it going, gentlemen?
Very well.
Hear me okay? I'm coming in too hot?
No, you're all good.
I missed the discussion. I want to bring up the natural world, but go ahead. Finish what you got and then come back to me.
He's got nothing. He's made a claim, and then basically when it comes to us pointing out that he makes no connection between Earth curve and his observation from a plane, which is being simultaneously disagreed with by about 3 panel members. So he hasn't actually got a point.
It matches up perfectly with what you would expect on a sphere, Nathan.
Yeah, we understand that you have to presuppose a sphere. We got there ages ago. Just surface
how would you do that without presupposing a sphere or deducting a sphere, Nathan?
You don't.
Can you possibly? How can we possibly have this conversation?
I'll answer you, dumbass. I'll answer you, dumbass. If you're shut up long enough, you're gonna get kicked out.
Conversation.
You want to get kicked out? You just rumpusing. Yeah, you don't. You must presuppose we're on a sphere, you religious idiot. That's the point.
No, I can logically deduce it.
You've just said, how do I do it without presupposing it? Now you're changing it to your logical deduction.
From your perspective, Nathan.
You've been asked by Travis to give us that logical deduction.
It's a logical deduction based on a presupposition.
Precisely.
Okay, that's a little bit better. But it doesn't, like like I told you before, if I presuppose you're a wanker, Nathan, and you turn out to be a wanker, it's true.
Real quick, unorthodox, real quick. Arwin, if I send you a couple of pictures, can you present
them? Sure. Do it over Skype.
Yeah, that's a loose attempt. A loose attempt at claiming the fallacy isn't going to work here. So, no. In some instances, claiming something using a fallacious argument doesn't necessarily rule out the possibility of the thing being claimed actually being true. So yes, while you can assert that you can claim as a presupposition that I'm a wanker, only to discover that I'm a wanker, doesn't mean that your fallacious argument in the first instance was wrong, i.e. the fallacy. That's not true here. Your fallacious argument doesn't have any proof to go with it.
I would argue that.
What, that it does because you presuppose it? Yeah, we know. We know you must presuppose it. And you saying, well, if I can't presuppose it, how the hell am I supposed to prove it? Well, you can't. That's the point. You can't prove we're on a bloody model. We're not. Hey, Haunted House.
I just proved to you that that's an invalid argument, Nathan. If I say you're a wanker, if I presuppose you're a wanker,
shut up.
And you turn out to be a wanker,
it
doesn't take away from the fact that you're a
very
wanker.
fun. Get away with using an example that calls the host a wanker. Fun.
Do you use
anyway.
the scientific method?
Hey, Haunted.
Do you use the scientific method?
We've done that before on the show, and they didn't.
Question: Do you use the scientific method?
Excuse me. Yes.
Okay. The scientific method rejects a hypothesis, which means If you do use the scientific method, you should be rejecting the globe, not confirming anything. You're not supposed to confirm what you've heard, what you've been told. Okay, that's analysis.
I've done a lot of this stuff myself, personally.
That's incorrect.
You've been primed to believe something that isn't self-evident. It's okay, man. You think you're going to come to the realization one day, though? Or are you rigid and you won't allow new information?
I would bet you both my testicles that you guys are wrong.
Statement was incorrect.
Why would you live that? Why would you choose to? Why would see? This is the, I'm exposing the fact that this is your choice, man.
Presupposing is not proven, no matter how much you want it to be.
Don't talk over me, Aaron.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's not proven. I'm just saying that's not a good argument. That the presupposition completely throws out everything that you've proven. You can presuppose something and it's still true. It doesn't mean it's not true.
Sorry, it wouldn't be necessary to presuppose it.
Verify the sphere.
He doesn't seem to get it. If you need to presuppose
if you want me to
something,
show you how to verify the sphere, I can. I made a video on that exact topic.
Sorry,
Okay,
you're talking nonsense and orthodox. If you need to presuppose it and it's real, why do you need to presuppose it exactly?
I would call it a logical deduction. You call it a presupposition, Nathan.
You didn't. Did you not hear my question? If it's just fact and real, why on earth would you need a presupposition?
I don't need a presupposition. I need a logical
deduction.
deduction.
You do, you stupid dumbass. In order to be on a sphere, you must presume you're on a sphere.
Yeah.
No, logical deduction.
Oh,
Nathan,
so we go
really?
in
This is
circles.
logical deduction then. Post a syllogism.
I just want to ask the guy,
Hold on a second.
if it's not self-evident, then it's really not relevant. Do you understand that? Do you understand what I mean by that?
Can you hear me?
It's not relevant.
If it's not self-evident, it's not relevant. Look, what is there to tell me out there to tell me that we live on a sphere?
Well, I live about 20 miles north of Nashville. I can't see the high-rise towers in Nashville ever.
Okay. So what tells me we live on a sphere?
That's pretty obvious.
Simple question. What shows me we live on a sphere? I live on a sphere.
20 miles is not that far for high-rise buildings. You either got crap eyes, crap cameras, or you just deliberately turn in a blind eye.
Seriously.
Nathan, I'm presenting chocolate.
Well, hold on, just real quick.
Okay,
I'm looking at islands 20 miles away right now on Orthodox, and I can see them plain as day. So 20 miles is not that significant.
Typically, that's always over water, though, where you can see things further than they're supposed to be, right? Because of refraction, the difference in temperature.
Yeah.
I have some pretty solid evidence for the globe if y'all would ever let me present it.
You're talking to the wrong people.
Bit of a
Was
monologue
that
in a minute.
quantum eraser before?
What about
that I was trying to talk and you were talking over me. Yeah.
Hey man, how you doing? Good to hear you.
I'd like to hear Quantum's answer.
I'm going to take off, guys. See you later.
Take care, Jonathan.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Well, he said that it was logical, right? So post a syllogism.
Right.
Go ahead, share your screen, Nathan. Have him post a syllogism.
I don't even know what a
syllogism
syllogism is.
What a syllogism is. I'll bet you. You know what a syllogism is?
He's already said he doesn't.
No, I don't know what a syllogism is. Do I need to? Does a human need a syllogism to make logical deductions?
Yeah. Yes, that's what a syllogism is.
Oh my God.
I love you. Unorthodox sometimes you're my favorite guest.
If I knew what it was, it'd be pretty damn easy to do that then, don't you think?
Unorthodox, can I ask you?
Maybe you should do it the other way around. If you don't know what it is,
Could you
don't
look
try.
at Arwen's picture and tell me?
Was that a rhetorical question?
I don't need to know the definition of something because I don't know the exact definition of what you're talking about. That doesn't mean that the logic is flawed. That means I'm not familiar with the terminology that you're using. Correct?
Sure.
No. Ignorance is fine. That's fine. That's a perfect excuse. He's essentially admitting to being ignorant. In that case, because of his gracious concession, John, can you just explain to him what a syllogism is, please?
Nope, I'm not doing it. He has to go find it. He claimed it. I didn't claim it. He claimed it. So he has to go find it and then put his logical argument into a syllogism for us. I'm not doing it for
Why
him.
would I do that? I already jumped through all you guys' hoops with the scientific method. I did exactly what you wanted with the scientific method and gravity. exactly
you
to
did.
a T what
When
you guys
did you do
wanted,
that?
and you still rejected
Really?
that. So why would I go put
do it
effort
again.
into making a
Let's
syllogism
do it again.
just to come here and for
Hey,
you to
Nathan.
tell me that's wrong?
Hey, Nathan, can
You
you,
couldn't
stop
even
his
vary
diarrhea of the mouth?
Because you proved
And
that
we got the
mass.
Oh my God!
Hold on,
Hold
Arwin.
on a second.
So he's just made a claim, and he's done it 3 times before, but I'm happy to do it again.
Are we sharing screens?
Not yet. Just give me 10 seconds.
Okay.
Work.
I say let's talk about something new.
Yeah.
Oh,
We've
no.
done this. We've done this before. If you want
Yeah.
to do it again, you're just
Yeah,
gonna
we
say the
have.
same old thing.
All right, so real quick,
We've done this
unorthodox.
before.
No
Real
chocolate. No.
Okay, you want to go through it again?
on.
Skype
that
window's
again.
I'm
terrible.
fine with that. I just think it's kind of silly.
I don't know why it's
You have a
giving me this crappy window as the only window
I'm hearing
choice
echo.
for Skype. It won't let me share it properly, so I'm going to have to put you on a different way, which I'll do now. Okay, so that's slightly clearer. So you're on screen for the audience. Go on.
What's your scientific evidence? Natural phenomena observed, please.
Rock falling off a cliff. Or a leaf falling from a tree.
No, one at a time. When you say it, I'm typing it. No changing it. So which
Okay,
is it?
leaf from a tree. Since these are the rules, leaf falling from a tree.
At least he's got an actual viable observed phenomena.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, that was really hard, guys.
Should we give
All
him
right,
a round
so
of
leaf
applause?
falling from a tree. Since that's your naturally observed phenomena, guess what your dependent variable is? Leaf falling from a tree.
No, you don't get to tell me what my independent variable is.
Are you having a laugh?
It's gonna be judo.
Hold on. Let me get this straight. You've just given him your phenomena, and you're telling him that he's not allowed to use that as the dependent variable?
Yeah, we're not going to use leaf as independent variable.
No, dependent variable.
My word.
Either one of those.
So you're saying the observed phenomena cannot form part of the hypothesis. You are quite literally the dumbest person on this panel right now.
I know.
I'm sorry.
So dumb.
I don't mean to laugh.
So dumb of
Let me just break
not
it
to
down.
use a
No,
leaf.
This is
it's fine.
ridiculous.
If an orthodox doesn't get it, I want to break it down for those in the audience who don't get it. Your observed phenomena is, another way to put it, an effect. And you are trying to establish the cause of that effect. Now, in a hypothesis, the effect is the dependent variable.
Okay.
Excellent.
I'm sorry.
Glad we got that clear. So, just to reiterate for you, because you said leaf falling from a tree is your dependent variable now.
No.
Oh my god.
I couldn't make it up. This is brilliant.
I don't know what to say.
Let's play your little game here. Let's just say
It's not a game. This is
I
the
have to do
scientific
it
method.
specifically this certain way. Okay, we'll just say
The scientific
things-
method way.
the scientific method way.
Yes.
That's
you
what
guys
this
are
is.
really involved in science. Which one of you guys is involved in science?
That's what this is.
You right now, at the moment, you are attempting to be involved in science by formulating a hypothesis. So, to answer your question, you.
Mad scientist.
No, I mean, like, where are you getting your understanding from science?
No, you are the one providing
No, you.
your understanding of your science.
The mad scientist.
Do you know what the scientific method even is, son?
We've already done this before, Quantum Eraser. We went through the whole thing, and your only argument was
and we
that
laughed
height,
at you at the
height
end
couldn't
because you
be
couldn't form a
my dependent
hypothesis.
variable, right?
Well,
So,
yeah.
are you changing your argument now?
So, yeah.
Because
No.
before it was something else. Now it's something completely different. So are you changing your argument from before? Are you changing your position?
What the
height
bloody hell
wouldn't
is
be
he
your
babbling
independent
about?
variable.
Does anybody understand his argument? We're just getting your. All we're doing is getting your hypothesis from you. That's it. You said you'd given it us 3 times before, and what's the problem? Like an assertion that you'd actually achieved something in doing so the last 3 times when we took it to pieces. Now you're just reiterating the 3 points that you think you won last time when we took them to pieces. But we're so far.
I'm just asking if you're changing your position.
The screen that the audience can see has got the same exact formulation of the scientific method and its requirements as we've put on for the last 2 times or 3 times that you've done this.
Every time John hasn't even come close to writing it down properly. Why don't you let me write it down properly and you show my screen?
He's typing out verbatim the words that come out of your mouth for your science.
He's not. That's not what happened anytime we've done this. I've looked at the videos. That's completely false.
Okay, so far we've had leaf falling from a tree, and then when he literally copied and pasted those words that you gave for your phenomena, also known as the effect, you told us not to do that. That's because you are a retard.
So are you changing your position?
No.
No?
No.
Like I said, we've already done this before. I really don't see the point. I had something about distances.
Okay. My bad. Sorry. I'll just declare it for the audience on your behalf. Let's shut him up. He's already won. We don't need to do this, John. He's already done it and already won.
What to say?
You've already won, right?
What do you have to say?
You've already won, right? We've already done this. You've already won. You don't need to do it again.
You guys had absolute crap arguments against it. You said that
your
height
argument
could not be the variable.
This is your argument. We're just writing down what you say. And before you've even said it, you're telling us that you've won.
Like I said, show my screen and I'll write it down. Last time, John didn't write down my words properly. The last 2 or 3 times he did.
You've only given 5
based
words.
on what he's done in the past, I don't believe that
he's going to write down. I'll play moderator if you think John can't write down correctly. No problem. The first 5 words, are these or are these not correct? Phenomena. Leaf falling from a tree. Would you say that's wrong or right? You said it.
That's right. That's right.
Excellent. So let's move on. So what's the cause of that effect? Otherwise known as the independent variable. The cause.
The distance between it
No,
and
distance is a concept, you utter idiot. It's not causing anything. So no, distance doesn't cause things.
They're connected together, Nathan.
Do I need to say it a second time, you complete buffoon? Distance is a...
Gravity...
Let's shut him up. Distance is a concept. It does not cause things.
Everything's a concept, Nathan.
Everything's a concept. Excuse me, everything's a concept.
Did you hear what you just said, or not?
Wait a second. Wait a second. Everything's a concept, huh? So
everything's a word. Everything's a concept. I'm 6 feet tall. That's a concept, right? But it's still a physical, real-world thing. Are you arguing that
yeah,
it's
but
not?
unorthodox. You're not hearing what you said. He asked you, what's the independent variable? You said the distance.
Yes.
So
gravity.
You're saying the distance, the distance the leaf is from the ground is what caused it to fall?
In distance, you can't.
That's what you said, right?
You have to kind of, just because you're thinking of it a certain way doesn't mean that's proper, okay? To do these sorts of things, you kind of have to think cleverly. You have to use clever thinking. So you have to kind of relate.
That's a quote for the books. If you're going to do these things right, you've got to do them cleverly.
You guys aren't capable of doing clever thinking.
On Orthodox, you're gonna have to vary distance now as your independent independent variable.
Yeah.
Yes. So where's the gravity now? Where's the gravity? So you just lost gravity now. It just went out somewhere, out the door. We're trying to.
Gravity is directly proportional to distance, right? It's inversely squared.
Sorry, we're looking for the cause. Are you having me on?
I would just argue this. Like, you don't need this, guys. Just drop something. Like, just drop it.
Just drop gravity. Just out the door.
It's really that simple.
I'm sorry, I'm missing something.
Drop it, man.
Sorry, yeah, we
There's
are.
nothing to the left of me. There's nothing to the right of me.
Control your verbal diarrhea, my friend. I'm trying to clarify that that's what you've told us to do. Can you shut up, please? You've said drop something. Leaf falling from a tree is exactly that. Now we want to know the cause of that.
You don't need all this. Like, it's that obvious.
What, the cause?
I'm out in the field. There's nothing to the left of me. There's nothing to the right of me. There's nothing in front of me. There's nothing behind me.
Here I
There's
am,
nothing
stuck in the
above
middle
me.
with
The only thing concrete large is beneath me, where does the leaf fall? Towards everything.
Awesome.
Towards all the mass. It's really that obvious.
Fascinating. So now can you give us the cause of that effect, please?
Helium balloon.
What?
The cause!
Density.
The
Density
cause!
is the cause of it.
Are you deaf? The cause of that
Density.
effect, please. You've described an effect. We've got it written down. Leaf falling from a tree. Just drop something. Yeah, you've got that bit. Now we want to know the cause of that.
Density.
Sorry, you're giving me another concept. Are you joking?
Yeah, let's just go with that.
What, another concept that won't ever cause anything ever?
Yeah, density causes things to fall. I
So,
realized that.
as a syllogism,
Never mind.
so let me get it right. As a syllogism, if density, then leaf falling from a tree. That's your hypothesis.
Yes.
If density.
Yes.
Cool.
No, I'm
So
using
if I
yours.
have,
That's you
hold
guys'
on,
thing. That's the flat
hold
earth,
on,
the flat
let's
earth
just
community.
take it through its logical steps. So if I have density, a concept, I will experience leaf falling from a tree. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
No, you complete Dumbo.
That's 100% correct.
So if density, then leaf falling from a tree.
Yes.
Right. So I provide some density. A boat, very dense. You're saying if this dense thing then leaf falls from tree. Are you utterly stupid?
No, that's you guys' thing.
That's what you've just given us as your logical syllogism. You've said if density then leaf falling from a tree. It's benign, it's stupid.
This is your null hypothesis to disprove gravity. We're just going to do it with density. So this is your thing.
Oh my god!
So why don't you take it from here? Go ahead and take it from here. We'll do density, and then we'll go ahead and we'll disprove gravity, right? Because we can do the null hypothesis. If the hypothesis,
why are you using quote unquote our thing? Why don't you use your thing?
Because we've already done this. We've already done this.
That's
so let's do your thing now. We've done my thing.
So then
let's do your thing.
So all right. So if we've done it to the point where you don't even want to use your thing anymore, what are we doing here?
And I even had the chance to smell it.
I had the same question too. I had something prepared about distances and how you can't make a flat Earth map.
So why don't you?
Which would utterly crush flat Earth.
So just present
Thanks,
that.
Nathan, for bringing that show back. I needed it.
Yeah, that was good fun.
There you go. There it is.
I mean, I've got a pretty convincing 1-minute video, and you guys can tell me how this works. If this is what I came on to present, I didn't want to get into this other stuff.
So we're gonna. You want us to explain your claim? Are you insane? Do you walk around asking complete strangers to explain things they never made claims for?
All the time.
All the time.
Oh, wow.
I'm a weird dude. I'm a weird dude. What can I say?
Me too.
Yeah, you are.
I do it all the time too.
Well, at least you admit that.
That's cool. That's cool, man.
It's cool, you know what? Well, welcome back, brother. Welcome back.
Yeah. You know guys. You know those people selling those newspaper in front of the supermarket. You know those who just stand there and want to sell it to you. Yeah. Every time I pass by those persons, I'm going to ask completely random questions. Like,
yeah,
you get your butt.
Gravity.
I asked her last time. I proved gravity to me, and then she did me, and I was like,
Jesus,
yeah,
dude.
she hit you with a
Too
person.
far. Too
Great
far.
minds think alike. What can I say? What can I say?
You walk up to a bum and expect them to explain the theory of gravity.
And then I take the newspaper out of the hand and smash it to the ground and say, "Prove gravity to me." Then, yeah.
You're a troll, Zinder. You're a troll already, so that's funny.
So are we done with leaf falling from a tree? Can I go ahead and delete this?
Yeah, just be aware that Unorthodox will now claim that he's proved it to us 4 times over.
No, I'm not going to say 4 times.
I'm not
going to say 4
Nathan,
times.
can we
It was
get
like
the
2 or 3. I
subject?
can't remember which one.
Nathan,
Come on, Arthur. Concede.
he doesn't have.
I
to
did exactly
concede.
what you guys wanted. I did it. I took my time. I watched the videos. I did exactly what you guys wanted. I did.
We
You can't
appreciate
tell me
it.
that I didn't.
We all
did you apply
you
critical thinking to what you watch?
And we got a conclusion, so concede.
He doesn't have to concede.
The argument, when we finished that topic, your argument was that height cannot be my independent variable. I don't think that's a valid claim. If you can prove that that's true or untrue, then maybe we can move the argument forward.
So what you're saying is your independent variable is if height. So you just phrased it wrongly, not distance, but height.
Or is it density?
Your distance away from the Earth's surface is height. That's another name.
Oh, my bad.
For distance.
I'm sorry. Take it all back. So your logical syllogism is, if height, then leaf falling from a tree. So if I gain altitude in an aeroplane, then leaf will fall from tree.
Like I said, you got to think cleverly, Nathan. I don't think y'all are really capable of doing
I'm thinking
that.
cleverly. I'm going to jump on a plane, and as a direct consequence, because it's the sole independent variable, it will cause a leaf to fall. I know this because your science tells me so.
Unbelievable.
Well, at least I've got some science.
You haven't. You have none. There is no scientific evidence for a sphere Earth. It's just a religious
better
belief.
Independent variable be maybe the leaf died. Maybe the leaf died, and then it fell off.
No. If death, I'm not having that as an independent variable. I'm not going to be the one to vary and manipulate that.
I'm not sure where you're going with this, but
I want
is the actual answer for the leaf falling
if
off?
cheeseburgers.
I mean, you're saying distance. The distance doesn't make any sense.
Concept.
Yeah, so let's do it full. I want to know the answer.
Well, my other example was air pressure. When I used distance, I was relating it to air pressure and the gradient. Okay, that was the example that I used.
Bloody hell, how many independent variables have you got?
Original.
How many independent, one singular, sole, variables do you have?
We were talking in the heat of the moment. I should have said air pressure changes as you go up, but I said leaf falling. So I should have said air pressure changes as you go up.
So what you're saying is your original phenomena is now turning into air pressure changes with altitude. That's not a phenomena.
Unorthodox.
Yeah, it is. You have pressure sensors in your ear. You can feel that.
Yeah, but the whole point are unorthodox, and we stumbled upon this very early on, is that the gravity hypothesis, as is applied by the scientific community, it's a complex hypothesis. It's it's an aberration of all these different phenomena that point out, that must be a thing. But the problem with the scientific method to actually prove it, you can't use a complex hypothesis. You have to use a basic hypothesis in which the independent variable is the cause of the phenomena.
However,
and there is no such thing for gravity.
Hold on a second. We're talking about Cavendish, right? The scientific community doesn't follow Newtonian Cavendish gravity. How many times did these people have? Brian Cox just said it the other day. Anthony has a video. Right?
It's still the same effect. Quantum eraser. You still have the same outcome.
We're not even in the realm. They're not even parroting the right pseudoscience.
In physical, in engineering, as a mechanical engineer, okay,
engineering is not science, son.
Gravity is used in 99.9%.
99.999%.
It's used in a large percentage.
Sure it is. I'm a Saudi prince and a Mama fighter pilot and soft.
He's correct. Gravity is used in architecture, in calculating things. It's a valuable tool, but it's not actually anything else than a tool. It's a concept, and it works out with when you want to do stuff with it. But
it's a mathematical formula that's applied when extrapolating out relative density in air when comparing it to masses. But that's using the logic of relative density and hijacking it with a mathematical formula and then attributing this label of gravity to it. I mean, to assert, just to wrap this up, because you've got unorthodox saying that they're the same thing, they reach the same outcome, and one is pseudo-Riemannian 4-space, one is Euclidean 3-space. They are totally different mathematical constructs. They are in no way associated. One is objects of mass attract one another. The other is the bending of space-time. These two things are completely and utterly mutually exclusive. They're not related.
Right.
Formulas are interchangeable at low speeds.
No, they're not interchangeable. This is preposterous absurdity, is what it is, and we just showed it. So can we move on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Nathan. Before you go, I wanted to go back to this natural phenomena in the natural world. Sure. Are you seeing this?
I've got it up now. Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at this. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 definitions of the natural world. So let's go over these. Merriam-Webster. All of the animals, plants, and other things existing in nature and not made or caused by people. From Oxford, natural, existing in or derived from nature, not made or caused by humankind. Natural, something that comes from nature rather than being man-made. Natural, from Cambridge, from nature, not artificial or involving anything made or caused by people. Is this clear?
I don't know. What do lead balls in a shed fall under?
So this is a common misconception. In science, you have to be more precise with your language. So you're mistaking common everyday language with precise scientific language.
This is precise.
This is
I
extremely
just
common.
gave you 4 definitions of it.
Let me get this straight. Hold on. Let me get this straight. After telling us that your observed phenomena was leaf falling from a tree, then blaming distance and then density, and then saying that it was actually air pressure that you wanted as your observed phenomena, you're now criticising John for not being specific when he's got 4 cited references for the very definition of the word natural, and you're criticising him.
This is a common misconception. I'm not relating it to anything else. I'm just saying this is a common misconception. Science uses very explicit language. They'll take a word that's used in common everyday language and they'll define it more rigorously to fit into the scientific
doesn't do anything. Science is the scientific method. It's not an entity. Stop reifying science.
Right, and science deals exclusively with, let me think, the physical and natural world, right? Yeah, we should be more...
I'll give you an example, right? Like what do you feel when you touch a surface? What are you feeling? Say you touch a metal table, or you touch a pillow on top of that metal table. One feels colder than the other.
What about
a crayon?
What if we touch a crayon before you munch it? Right?
Or just follow with me, okay?
Okay, I'm tracking with you.
If you touch a cold table and there's in the same room with a pillow that's been there for all day, they're both the same temperature. If you touch the table, it feels cold. If you touch the pillow, it's obviously doesn't feel nearly as cold.
Yeah, you know why that is? You know why that is? Because the heat is not transferring.
Exactly.
Right. The table's more heat conductive.
So that's kind of an example that shows you why you have to be more precise with your language.
Well, you didn't use the word. You didn't use the word conductivity. So I would have used the word conductivity in that description.
Yeah, exactly.
But you didn't use the word conductivity while simultaneously criticising us for not being explicit and descriptive enough in our language. But you didn't use the word.
That's exactly the word, the heat conductivity, the transfer rate of heat between your hand and the object. You're exactly right, Nathan.
Yeah, but you didn't say that. But you didn't say that while simultaneously criticising us for not being descriptive enough.
I didn't get there. I wasn't done.
Oh, right.
My explanation.
Okie dokie. Sorry, I should just permanently give you the mic.
So I asked a question and you got it right, Nathan. And you're criticizing me for not. I don't understand the criticism here.
So
we weren't making one. You were. You were telling us that we weren't descriptive enough with our scientific language, and then John pointed out that science doesn't do things. That's reifying something that doesn't actually do things when it's just a method, and the method deals exclusively with the physical and natural world. And he was defining what the word nature meant.
The point was that there's really no well-known thing in common English language that you could use to describe that situation. You have to go to something specifically in science, conductivity.
Oh, brother.
Right? Heat transfer rate.
This is a joke, man. This is like 3rd grade joke.
Gymnastics exercise, it seems like.
I thought it was a pretty good example.
Not really, because I'm still trying to figure out what's natural and physical with your observation of touching the table.
That's not relating back to the scientific method. All this is relating is to the words used in science.
Okay, so natural and physical is pretty specific and not so confusing. So based on a Cavendish, they say experiment, what's natural and physical to that you found it to be an observable phenomena?
In physics, anything in the world that you can observe is natural.
Citation, please.
It includes natural, what you would commonly refer to as man-made, like, for example, like a refrigerator.
God. Shut him up. Listen, what is the goal of the scientific method? Why do we employ hypotheses in the scientific method?
I don't know. Please tell me.
Cause and effect relationships. If man has already caused it, then we know the cause. So we don't have to do anything. There's not a hypothesis that can be made.
The air pressure changes as you go up.
This is third grade.
That's not man-made.
Oh my God.
It's not. Don't tell me it is. That's not man-made. That's a good starting base.
That's not a phenomena. Just stating the bloody
sure
obvious.
It is. My ears can feel the air pressure changing.
And? So you think that needs scientific inquiry, do you?
I mean, why not? We're not hunter-gatherers anymore, right? After you kind of secure the basic needs of human society, you can move on to more, mind-based endeavors and kind of, a more civil society, right?
No idea what you're babbling about.
Deep.
We were trying to ascertain some sort of proof of gravity with a hypothesis-based experiment, and we got nowhere with you. Now you're telling us we don't understand this, or we're not using the right language, or that we should be basing our experiences on some sort of mind experience rather than a method that we're trying to detail to you.
Get anybody who does science as a profession and get them to quote them as saying that John's definition is correct. You cannot use...
I'm a retired scientist, son.
Are you?
My word.
What was your profession?
Yeah. You don't need
what area?
to know my profession. If you can't tell by the words that are coming out of my mouth, then you got bigger problems than whether the earth is a sphere or not. I mean, this
John,
is a train
are you joking?
wreck.
Somebody's supposed to tell by the words that are coming out of your mouth what your profession was?
Train wreck. I mean,
that's not even logical whatsoever.
Come on, unorthodox. Let him talk.
Third graders would be laughing at you with this natural science, hypotheses, the scientific method. Come on.
Anybody in the chat, please type what John's profession was, because I can't figure it out from what he's saying. Maybe you guys can. Maybe y'all are smarter than me.
John's profession makes no difference to the validity of what he's saying. It means nothing.
It means that he's not familiar enough with the terms.
You don't have to be initiated into some kind of priesthood to wield the scientific method.
I've got 2 degrees in an actual scientific discipline and worked half my life in that discipline.
John, you told me that engineering wasn't applied science.
Engineering is not science.
It's applied. You told me it wasn't applied science.
I said engineering is not science. It's not natural science.
No, it's the application of science.
Oh my God.
And you specifically told me that that's not what it was.
Unorthodox applied science is a name. It doesn't actually have the meaning of the scientific method in it. It's just a name they gave to it.
Right, that's where it's hijacking.
It's a name based on exactly what it is. You take the information that the scientists...
It's not.
Science is
a method.
That's the freaky thing about it. They call it scientific, but it's not.
Exactly.
I think you might be mistaking technology for science here, guys.
Yeah, I think that's the problem.
Oh my God, guys!
Do you think that's the only problem?
If you go to any engineering school, you learn science, and then you take that science,
engineering
what science has learned, and you apply it to design objects.
Dude, engineering is not science. Are you listening?
What's the application of science?
No,
Yeah,
it's
let's
not
show him
science.
he's
It's not the
rumpusing.
application of
He's rumpusing.
science.
Can you turn him down or something,
It's
Nathan?
not the application of science.
No.
No.
It's making shit.
It's what?
It's making shit. It's doing things. It's not science. Science is a method. It's not a construct.
So electrical engineering, where you use an Ohm's law to that the scientific method gave us. You use
John,
that to construct circuits.
You need to read the definition of science, technology over science.
That's the same. It's building
That's
something.
the whole point. It's
the same.
like a name, a direction. It's called applied sciences because suggestively it applies some things that have been scientifically discovered and determined, and using that mindset, that source, to build stuff. But it doesn't actually apply sciences. It just is like a pointer, like, yeah, that's where we take our resources from.
So you like Ohm's law used in electrical engineering, like you could. This is pretty simple. You could do this like in your home.
Natural laws are not
like so.
science.
I don't understand how you can make the argument that's not
Science.
applied.
They don't go through the scientific method. We already went over this a number of times. Natural laws are not science or scientific. They do not enter the scientific method. We already went over this.
As humans, we like to put things in these little bitty tiny boxes, and as an engineer, you use scientific knowledge to build things. But of course, there's going to be some trial and error. You can't put everything into some tiny little bitty box like you guys are trying to do.
No, we're not trying to put it into a tiny narrow box. Science is a very narrow and specific term, which has been hijacked. It's an application of a method, and that method is an exploration of the physical and natural world. Now, while you might want to call computer science science, it isn't.
I'm just saying it's the application of science. I can't even believe you guys would make that argument that engineering isn't the application of science.
My bad. So when I use a microwave, I'm applying science, am I? When I heat my toast up or heat my tea up, that's an application of science. No, just because something has been developed from scientific discovery doesn't mean its use thereafter is science. It's not.
That's not what I'm saying.
It is.
No, it's not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying engineering is applied science. So it takes what you guys think true. Oh, crap.
Oh, you've cut half your volume, which is probably no bad thing.
Whoops. No, I accidentally pulled my. I was getting a little. I was moving around. I pulled my headphones out. The application of science, engineering takes what you guys say is ethereal and isn't real, and it makes it something real.
Ethereal.
So that's kind of my point here.
You just make stuff up. Are you seeing my screen?
Show you that this stuff is real.
I don't want to have to cut you off, Unorthodox, but just you can't see what's on screen. But if John can read it, the audience can see it.
This is from Henry Petrosky. He's the professor of engineering and history at Duke University. Engineering is not science. This is the paper. That's the title of the dang paper. Right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to do.
I'm just telling you, it takes things that you guys are saying is ethereal, like intangible. It's not real because it's just a science that you're saying isn't real. Well, once you take it and you apply it to the real world and you build an object with it, it's then real.
Here's the whole title. Engineering is not science, and confusing the two keeps us from solving the problems of the world.
That's pretty big claim.
I'm not saying it's science. I'm saying it's the application.
That's exactly what you've been saying for the last 15 minutes. What are you talking about?
You're preventing world peace right here, Unorthodox.
I think this is intense.
It's just such a straw man, guys.
Yeah,
I can't be more clear. I'm not saying engineering is science. I never said that.
You did say that.
That's precisely what he said.
I didn't. I never said that. You misheard me, Sleeping Warrior.
No.
You say that engineering was science, and I said it's not. It's technology.
Right.
You misheard me, Sleeping Warrior. That's not what I said.
Well, didn't mishear you. Stop.
He's just a liar.
Okay, well, if you didn't mishear me, then I misspoke.
Yeah, we know you misspoke.
And my dog ate my homework. And I tugged on Superman's cape.
What did you mean to say then if you misspoke?
That engineering is the application of scientific knowledge, turning it from something
not science,
that you guys consider ethereal to real.
Science is a method Engineering is application of, but they're not mutually exclusive. They're not the same.
They're not. You're right. Science gives you knowledge. Engineering applies that knowledge to create real world objects.
Science proves the cause of an effect. That's all it does.
Yep. Yes, and then you use that cause and you manipulate it by engineering.
So how do you prove gravity?
You just said we manipulate it by engineering.
Yes, you manipulate your understanding. You use your understanding to manipulate how the systems work to get the outcome that you want.
Oh, you might do that, but that's not the application of the scientific method. The application of the scientific method would be trying to establish the cause of an effect. So yeah, you're kind of agreeing with us in the respect that you're backing everything we say in that statement, that it's definitely not science.
Nathan, I'm gonna
You're
make
right. It's definitely not science.
Thank you.
Nathan,
we know.
Thank
you. Go on,
for the next
sorry.
3 weeks, we'll not see Unorthodox again. But after 3 weeks, he'll come back. We'll have the same conversation again, and he'll disappear again.
Yep. Probably. I had something to present that I made that was totally different from anything I've ever said before.
But we have the same conversation every time you come in. It's just different variables.
No, we haven't really. That's what I was saying. I tried to move on from it, and you guys wouldn't let me. That's not my fault. That's your fault.
Not move on. Move around.
Yeah, that's not my fault, Sleeping War. That's on you, dude.
No, that's what you're doing. You're moving around it. You're not actually addressing the issue, as all of you always do. Always moving around that dark spot in your consciousness. You can't get there.
Well, I'll make you a promise.
On that note, I think I am going to round out this section of the show, the live portion. So I will say first and foremost, a massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. Also, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this live debate possible. Now, if you are watching this on Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, the show will continue shortly with the after show. In the meantime, I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Did you test your theory?
It does. It proves that that you can't make a flat map.
That's not the question. How did you prove your theory?
I made a model.
Models are reification
I made a CAD model.
Hey, Nathan, hold on a second. Hold on a
gotta
second.
love this
Nathan,
guy.
Nathan, are you there?
Yeah,
I mean, it's really not that complicated.
Hey, hold on a
guys. I don't understand
second.
why that's a
It's
problem.
not proving something, but you're claiming it's proving something.
Yeah, I would say that it's proof. Yeah, it doesn't have to be the scientific
Unorthodox.
method to be proof. If I punch you in the face,
Oh, here we
you're a
go.
wanker. Like, you don't need the scientific method to
I'll
prove
just
it.
have to shut him up for a second. He's got verbal diarrhea. John, go ahead.
Hey, listen. I wanted to query on IQ Flattener. I'm sorry to make you do admin stuff, like I said, but did IQ Flattener give his contact information? Because we're doing this.
Yeah, I don't know his contact info. He's in one of the Skype groups, though, so I did say I'd sort it out and find out where he is.
This is probably some of the strongest evidence you can get.
Would you shut it?
I'm sure of it.
Yeah, in my
He just
eyes,
can't keep his own.
It's some of the strongest proof you can get. And if you look at a concept like this, I mean, it should be pretty easy to make a flat map. Just take where I am at, go to the next
Who
city.
are you talking to? Are you talking
off.
to yourself?
Go
Are
another
you
direction,
literally trying to
go the
convince
next city,
yourself?
Mark it off. Go to the next city, mark it
Unbelievable.
off. Like, it shouldn't be that complicated to make a flat map.
Listen, IQ Flattener out there, if he's listening, if this is going out, you know, me and you have a meeting, sir. We have a formal debate on your debauchery, right?
He isn't listening.
The show is over. It's time to own up.
It's the middle show.
Time to cowboy the frig up, brother. So you better get your act together. I'm going to contact you, and we're going to have this debate on Nathan's channel.
Yes.
Okay?
Banjo.
IQ Flattener, are you listening to me, sir?
Yeah, I'll see if I can get a message to him. So anyway, Arwin, do you know which do you know which Skype group Earth Flattener's in?
Earth Flattener? That should be Master.
He's in Master B.
Right?
Is in Master? Oh, okay. I can find him nice and easy. Then you can find him too if you're in Master B, John.
I'm not in Master
I've
B.
got him in Google Hangouts.
Earth Flattener.
Thanks,
right?
thanks, Unorthodox. That's very helpful.
There's Flatten Earth
I'll
and
message him right
Flatten
now.
Earth.
Tell him John's talking smack.
Hey, message him with a leaf. The leaf.
Okay. I will specifically. And John, I gotta call BS on you having 2 science degrees. I'm sorry.
I don't really care what you think.
What they are. If you can't even say what they are, that's an issue, bro.
You're a moron, sir. I don't care what you think. Okay.
That's an issue. You don't like. You can't even say what they are. Come on, man.
Yep, I'm not. It's none of your business.
I would argue that it is. If we're debating scientific topics, it's kind of your it's kind of your onus to say that.
Is background relevant to?
Absolutely.
Why?
Absolutely.
Are you saying
99.99%?
Why? Hold on. Why
let's
is
hear him answer.
background relevant to the scientific method?
Let's hear his answer.
Are you joking?
No. Why is it relevant?
So if I work as a woodmaker for 25 years and we're talking about woodmaking, you don't think that would be relevant? Give me a break, guys.
How would it be relevant to your application of the scientific method?
To show that you're knowledgeable.
Can the woodcutter apply the scientific method?
No. He has to show I'm applying the scientific method. Can you please show how I'm wrong?
In what regard? I mean, that would be pretty easy. But
The
I don't
scientific
know what
method regard.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, give me 1 second. I'll find you a quotation from a scientist that shows you that you can study anything.
An actual scientist. It's scary now. I'm shaking in my boots.
So you're trying to make the point that you can't study anything that man has touched in science, right? That's your point.
No, that's not my point. My point is the natural phenomena. Shut up. My point is the natural phenomena observed has to be frigging natural. That's my point.
Okay.
Although,
That's
John,
right.
to be fair, I have kind of my doubts in this, but I'm not gonna scold you.
Right.
Over it.
I already explained this to you. The sole mission of the
I know you have.
scientific-
I
No,
not you, but I completely understand.
Not you.
We even have seen your sources. I've seen your presentation.
No, he means an orthodox.
But I
I'm
have
talking
also
to an orthodox,
into the
Arwen, not
history
you.
of the scientific
Oh
method.
my God.
And that thing is very elaborate. So I can't say that I can just go with it 100%. There's more.
Nathan, can you let him know again?
He was talking to an orthodox Arwen.
No, I was actually talking to John in this case.
Okay, well, listen. I'm going to explain this again. Remember, I did it on the show. Just briefly, just give me a minute. The sole purpose of the scientific method, science, is cause and effect relationships.
Yes.
Now, we're talking about natural science. You understand? We're talking about genetics, chemistry, quantum mechanics, the natural world. That's what we're trying to discover causes for. So, man-made objects are by definition caused by man. There is no inquiry needed.
Yeah, but an object look, it's more complicated than just that. Just hear me out
No,
for a
it's
second.
not.
No, please. It's just
hear him out.
I'm trying to help everyone. You, me, everyone. Look, if that is the case, then so much in chemistry, how could you ever prove that? Because you have to work on the materials. You can't just take a rough material from the outside. A rock just happened to fall, have some material in it. It's going to be bound to get the exact properties of every single element. You have to refine them. You have to process them. You have to make that. It's going to be man-made. And see, there comes the existential
chemistry
problem
is not
with that.
man-made. That's
No,
not
but
the problem.
seriously, an
You
existential
got the
problem is
wrong
presented when you
emphasis
approach
on
it
the
like that.
wrong syllable. It's the natural phenomena observed that has to be natural. It's the
There's an
dependent
existential
variable that
problem.
has to be natural. It has to be a cause and effect relationship. What's your question?
The
Because
natural
if you-
world, not man-made,
if your
presents an
question is
existential
not-
problem.
If your question is not a cause and effect question, it doesn't enter into the scientific method. It's
know.
just that simple.
I'm not debating that part. Absolutely, I
Yes.
agree. But
Yeah.
the natural world, non-man-made, presents an existential problem.
It's not a problem.
That's all I'm saying.
Listen,
And
I
in
don't
my view,
agree,
what I
Arwen.
gathered, the natural world
Because-
is not interpreted like that. It's natural versus supernatural, and that's the
No,
main difference.
it's not.
No, that's a false equivalency that the Globers come up with.
Yep.
I don't know. I came up with it. I don't think the Globers came up with that. I'm not sure, but listen, it's just inconclusive. You got a completely full developed theory approach, and I respect that. What I'm saying, like, I'm not too sure yet. There's more to learn for me to really figure out where I'm gonna settle in this point.
Well, I already defined the natural world to you guys 5 times. I don't know what more you want me to do.
Nothing.
Yeah, I can't do anything more. Science. Now, Nathan had a very important point the last time, and I have said this. So if you want to side with your man-made objects being natural phenomenon, so give us the toaster oven theories and lawnmower laws.
Well, how about
it's
the
just
chemistry
that simple.
theories? How about the chemistry property?
I'm not
theories?
saying that chemistry, chemicals are natural. They occur
you
natural.
did. Chemistry falls under natural sciences. You just named it in your list.
That's right. Chemicals are
so
natural
if it's a natural
phenomena.
science, how can you prove things there? Because these things are derived scientifically, so said, from objects that were obviously worked on by man. They're no longer natural.
No. You can observe a natural chemical reaction, Arwin.
Could have, sort of, but to get conclusive proof, no.
You can.
But only in nature, like only in lakes, only in next to volcanoes.
That's the point. That's the existential problem that I'm trying to
Are chemicals
point out.
natural?
As soon as you interact with it, it isn't science anymore because you made it, right?
Wrong. He's got it wrong.
When you made the
natural
reaction,
phenomenon, not your interaction with it. You got the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. The dependent variable has to be a natural phenomenon, not your interaction with it. How can you do an experiment without a man interacting with it?
You can't. So
that's
you have to prepare it. You have to get the materials right. You have to get the setup right to prove it. But you have that's man-made construction.
Yeah.
So the thing that you are testing is man-made.
Yeah, but you're looking at a phenomena, and you might isolate variables with equipment, but it doesn't change the phenomena. If it does, then it's suddenly part of the actual effect. In other words, you're causing it with the equipment. In other words, you haven't isolated your variables properly. That would rule it out of science also. But if your equipment is there to observe the phenomena or measure it in some way, actually vary the thing you think is causing it, then that's perfectly acceptable because you're not actually causing the phenomena with the equipment. You're observing it.
But I'm not pointing at the equipment. I'm pointing at the actual chemical reaction themselves and the material that is the chemical reaction. That's not a natural phenomenon.
Yeah,
yes, it is.
Why are you saying that's not natural phenomena?
The devices you use to observe it and everything. And to
it is natural, Arwin. You can observe chemical reactions in nature all the time.
Yeah, but not all of them. Some have to be pure and
the ones that you don't observe, you don't need to worry about, Arwin.
Well, they are defined in chemistry, but they wouldn't have been if they wouldn't have gone as far as to refine the material and test it out. But that's man-made then. That is it is a serious existential problem here.
But if you're talking about developing materials, they're not establishing the cause of any effect.
Right.
Chemistry, chemical reactions. To prove
you can induce reactions chemically, but if you want to know the cause of rayon, or what's the synthetic fiber that they use for stockings?
Nylon.
If you want to establish the cause of nylon, you can fundamentally give the answer to that without using science.
It's Walter Carruthers.
Say again, Anthony. Say again, John.
Yeah, his name's Walter Carruthers.
Right.
He used amino acids to form nylon.
Right.
An amino acid structure.
That's a man causing something to happen.
Right.
Yeah. It's synthetic.
Exactly. Yeah. Not natural.
Exactly. You got it. It's still chemistry. Okay. But that part of chemistry is synthetic chemistry, and the cause of synthetics is man.
And they even say it's a man-made fiber.
Yeah, but how can you then derive properties from it?
What do you mean derive properties?
You can look at it. You can examine it. But you don't need to establish the cause of its effect.
Okay,
Right.
okay, but then it just falls completely outside of science.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Hallelujah. Yes, science, very narrow. Physical and natural world, and examining the causes of it.
Shit. Getting a headache.
Science is narrow. That's good.
Yeah, no, I agree, but just that natural phenomena thing, I'm not over that yet. I'll get back to you on this.
Fair enough.
Okay, but
good,
cool.
Very good
Okay.
point. You make a good case here with my example. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry, I
Anytime.
got fired up.
No problem.
Science is exciting.
It is.
John, you wouldn't be you if you didn't get fired up, man.
Yeah, but the reason is I get frustrated, and it's not a dig on you guys. It really isn't. But we had to learn this in grade school, right? And there's a lot of confusion. I don't know what happens from grade school to adulthood with most people, because this is really basic stuff.
I know what happened.
What?
You learn it, and then you just disregard it.
No,
All the
you learn
teachers
it, and
just
then you
tell
get told
like,
the total
you know,
opposite. You get
just-
told the immediately after learning the scientific method in school, they tell you something completely different in the same damn class. They'll give you a booklet that's got the molten iron core in it and tell you science.
Right, right. And then you make
But
an
they teach you the
association game.
method,
It's like
and then they
Pavlov's
abandon
dog. It's incoherent.
Right. It's a shell game.
Yep. That's all it is. And remember, listen, this is very important. It depends on the question that you're asking. I keep on saying this because it's so important. Science, or the scientific method, depends on what type of question you're asking. If it is not a cause and effect question, let's say we're trying to find the chemical makeup of the Illudium Q36 space modulator. If that is not a cause and effect question, we're just trying to find the makeup of the Illudium Q36 explosive space modulator, right? That's not a cause and effect question. Therefore, it's outside of science, natural science. You guys follow that? If you're asking a what is question, what is something? That's not a cause and effect question, like the bread box outside in my kitchen. If I'm trying to figure out what that bread box is, that's not a cause and effect question. That's a what is question. That falls outside the scientific method. So the question that you ask is of utmost importance to whether it either is in the scientific method or it cannot even enter it. How's that? Does that help out a little bit? Remember, it's the question that you're asking. Let me give you an example, another example. Is the Earth flat or a sphere? Is that a what is question or is that a cause and effect question?
That's a
what is.
That's a what is question.
geometrical nature
Therefore, it falls outside the scientific method. The ballers don't know this because they're just wiki parroters about their science, and that's why we've been taking them to the woodshed for the past 9 months. This isn't science at all. That's why we do this. We do this to expose them for parroting the term science with this stuff. Oh my God, I forgot. Is this going out live?
No, but it will be later.
Oh man, I just gave up the secret.
No, I don't think it's a secret. The question of what the shape of the Earth is, and I've said this many times, John, falls outside the remit of science. I had to add this, the most recent argument on this topic was with someone on the flat Earth side. I hate you, John, sometimes. So I had to argue with that Dr. John guy because he's using the word experiment. Now, it would be nice if I could only chop off globe heads with this, but it falls outside of science, unfortunately. You're having a little look at it, and you're making an observation and drawing a logical conclusion. That's all very well and good, and brilliant. Great. I'm all for it. But as soon as you use the word experiment, great.
Yep, they're done. Right.
Maybe, or
Right.
it's just a
Go ahead.
mistake that they don't see yet. I don't know.
They don't see it. It's right there. It's like a big hairy elephant in the room.
Right, but how
they're-
many mistakes are we still making that we don't know yet? Does that
The
make
flat
it
earthers?
valueless?
Lots and lots.
They're guilty as charged. That's what the whole thing is. That's why we're correcting flat earthers also. because they're indoctrinated too. They use these words, and the PhD is using the word experiment when it's not an experiment. I mean, if a PhD is doing that, what is the condition of everyone else?
No, not a test. That's a problem also, because he's contextualized. This is Dr. John. He's immediately, he's changed all of his literature now. So, Dr. John, if you're out there listening, good guy, etc. Thank you for conceding. But he conceded immediately because at a fundamental level, as soon as I brought it up and said, well, this isn't actually an experiment for these reasons, he went, you're absolutely correct. But then the brainwashing kicked into him, even though he's technically on our side, flat earther, right? Maybe not. I don't know his position. It doesn't matter. The point is he immediately launched into explaining away why his science was science when it isn't science after conceding that it wasn't science. And you go, well, how can somebody of that standard, a PhD, be of that conditioning? Well, he's just been brainwashed, same as all of us. We've all been brainwashed, and we said it earlier. You leave the scientific method having been told this is implicit, it's proving something, it's empirical. And then you get shown the Molten Iron core, and you go, oh, right. Well, he's had the same thing. We've had the same thing. We're all guilty of it, me included. John, present company excluded.
Yes. Okay, no problem. I don't have a problem. I can see it. But I've been saying this for 3 years. Why? I don't know what to do. I don't. And I'm fighting against this. It's...
Keep doing it and evolve yourself, because it's going to get harder.
I agree. It's more and more difficult. It's more difficult with the flat earthers than it is with the globeheads. With the globeheads, you can use an element of humiliation, whereas if you're trying to do it to someone on your own side, it makes it 10 times harder.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. It's you know what it is. I think I'm not into diagnoses, but this is real easy. You got that plaque on the wall, telling you that you entered and passed the gates of science, right? And you have that plaque on the wall with that degree, and pride kicks in. And if somebody tells you that's not science, oh boy, look out. That's a big problem. That's not even talking about the people that are just parroting Wiki or the Discovery Channel or Neil smoking deGrasse Tyson, right? That we're not even factoring those people in. They have no depth. There's nothing there. All you have to do is scratch underneath the surface, and that's what we're doing. We're just asking simple questions. As soon as they say experiment, well, what's your natural phenomenon observed? You've seen what happened today, right?
Yeah, it was a bit of a joke with Unorthodox. He's not here at the moment, so I'm not going to criticise him, but I think I might, on that note, round out the premiering show over on Nathan Oakley 1980. So obviously anybody watching this is watching on the Nathan Oakley 1980 channel. So a massive thanks to all of you who have tuned in and hopefully shared this premiere of a live debate somewhere in the middle. But yes, also a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you've not done so already, be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe. Thanks if you hit the super chat. If you didn't, why not? I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!